In the suburbs, at the small convenience store at the end of Xiao family village, Xiao Chen idly played with his phone and glanced out of the village. Fewer and fewer people are left in the village. This week, I've only sold a few packs of cigarettes and bottles of alcohol. I can't live like this anymore. Since most of the young people in the village had bought houses in the city, only a group of elderly residents remained. Occasionally, a few adventurous tourists would pass by. But apart from that, business at Xiao Chen's store was almost non-existent. "You have a new order, please check it." A notification came in. Making Xiao Chen jump, it was from the purchasing system he set up since most villagers were elderly and had difficulty getting around, and their family members couldn't come back. They would leave messages on the system for what they needed, and Xiao Chen would deliver it to them. It had become an additional source of income. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen got up and checked the system. 500 kilograms of rice, 2 boxes of instant noodles, 500 kilograms of flour. He was pleasantly surprised. A big order. However, his expression froze a moment later. End of the world, beside Texas. Looking at the address, Xiao Chen's fist clenched. Which little brat is messing around, playing with me on the system? He thought to himself, when I catch this kid, I'll give him a good beating. Just as he was about to cancel the order on his screen suddenly flickered. And then a voice echoed in his mind. Multiverse purchasing system activated. Please have the goods ready within 3 hours. The system will transport you to end of the world, beside Texas. Xiao Chen was stunned. What the heck? He shouted in panic, the voice appearing directly in his mind. With no prior warning. Multiverse purchasing system? Xiao Chen was even more bewildered as the system interface appeared in his mind. It showed an unfinished order, with a countdown timer. System. Xiao Chen shouted. But no response came. He thought for a moment but didn't say anything more. Perhaps the system was mute. He quickly scrolled through the system description. Multiverse purchasing system allows the host to travel between dimensions, delivering goods to various travelers across different worlds. Multiverse purchasing, mission guaranteed. Looking at the description, Xiao Chen immediately understood. So, this purchasing system allowed him to travel across dimensions. And the customers were other travelers. No way. People really do travel across dimensions. He stared at the countdown timer on the screen. There was no time to think any longer. He quickly opened his store. And luckily, the stock was abundant. He quickly loaded the goods into his Wuling van. System. Teleport. Xiao Chen clicked the teleport option in his mind. In the next moment, both he and his van disappeared. Before Xiao Chen was a vast expanse of white light. As the white light flickered and passed, the scene before him changed completely. He found himself in front of a large fortress, and in front of him stood a corrugated iron shack. A young man stood at the door, looking at Xiao Chen with excitement. Wu Ling. Holy crap, it's Wu Ling. The young man pointed at the van and shouted, "Big brother. Are you from Blue Star?" "Hello. These are the rice and instant noodles you ordered," Xiao Chen replied. Looking at the young man, "Yes. Big brother. Can you take me back?" the young man exclaimed, pulling on Xiao Chen's arm. "Big brother, you don't know. I've been stuck in this damn place for 15 years. 15 whole years. For these 15 years I've been living worse than a dog. This place is terrifying. There are zombies everywhere. And even the people here have no humanity. They keep trying to kill me. But luckily, I'm no pushover. Big brother, I can't even get enough to eat here," the young man cried, holding Xiao Chen's arm. "Big brother, do you know? This morning when I woke up, I had a multiverse ordering system in my head. I was so excited. My golden finger has finally arrived." The young man grabbed Xiao Chen's hand, shouting loudly, "Big brother, take me back. I've gathered a lot of good stuff here over the years. Anything you want, I can give it to you." Xiao Chen struggled, but the young man's grip was incredibly strong. His efforts were futile, and the young man didn't even feel it. "Big brother, talk to me," the young man said excitedly, looking at Xiao Chen. "Can you take me back?" "It seems not possible." Xiao Chen shook his head helplessly. He had just thought of trying, but the system in his mind directly responded to his thoughts. "My system only allows me to return alone." The young man slumped to the ground, a sad expression on his face. "Then it's over, big brother. You don't know how scary this place is. By the way, I've brought the things you wanted." Xiao Chen pointed to the back of the Wuling van, where he had already dismantled the seats to make space for the goods. "Well, at least I'm happy to see a fellow countryman here." The young man stood up and looked at Xiao Chen. "Big brother, I'm so excited. He then ran into his corrugated iron shack, and soon came out carrying a box. "Big brother, this is the feed the multiverse ordering system mentioned. You have no idea. This thing is really a scam. It actually wants 50 gold bars and a bottle of evolution serum. In the post-apocalyptic world, gold is pretty much the same as scrap metal, so that's not a big deal. But that evolution serum is expensive. However, with this over 1,000 pounds of food, I can recruit a whole bunch of underlings. Once I build up some strength, I'll have plenty of evolution serum." The young man rambled on, not giving Xiao Chen any chance to speak. "Here you go. Big brother, it's all yours," he said, handing the items to Xiao Chen. Looking at the sacks of rice Xiao Chen was unloading from the car, the young man asked, "Big brother, will you come again?" Xiao Chen, seeing the eager look in his eyes, shook his head and replied, "I don't know. I was just at home sleeping when suddenly the system awakened and told me to deliver goods here." Xiao Chen was truly unsure. "I'll try again next time." The young man hurriedly said, "Big brother, my name is Gu Ming. From now on, call me Xiao Gu. What year did you cross over from?" "I crossed over in 2019, Gu Ming eagerly asked. 2024. Xiao Chen replied, "Not too far off." Gu Ming quickly said, "Big brother, next time, bring me a few bottles of soda. Okay? I don't have the money to pay this time." Seeing the hopeful look in Gu Ming's eyes, Xiao Chen glanced at the car, where it seemed there was still half a bottle of soda left. Gu Ming, following Xiao Chen's gaze, eagerly ran over and grabbed the soda. Not minding that it had already been opened, he downed it in one go. "Still the same taste," Gu Ming said, satisfaction written all over his face. Suddenly, a system notification rang in Xiao Chen's mind. "Transaction completed. Please return as soon as possible." Looking at Gu Ming, who still seemed like he wanted to talk, Xiao Chen turned around and climbed into the car. "The transaction is complete. I'm leaving now." He pressed the gas pedal, and in the next moment, Xiao Chen's car disappeared from view in a flash of light. The scene before Xiao Chen's eyes changed once more. He relaxed when he saw the familiar supermarket. After all, traveling to an unknown world had made him worry he might not be able to return. Plain transaction successful. Host has returned. 1 settlement point gained. The voice of the multiverse procurement system rang in his mind. At that moment, Xiao Chen finally took the time to properly examine the multiverse procurement system in his mind. Essentially, it was a procurement system that could buy goods from different planes based on customer demands and deliver them. Every 5 settlement points unlocked a new plane. Glancing at the box in his hand, Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. Gu Ming had just mentioned that there were 50 gold bars inside. Just thinking about the vast amount of gold made Xiao Chen feel excited. He quickly opened the box and froze in surprise. There was gold inside, but definitely not 50 bars. 50 handling fee deducted. The remaining amount belongs to the host. The system's voice echoed. Xiao Chen looked down, and indeed there were only 25 gold bars. Each bar weighed 100 grams, which was 500 grams with the current gold price around 600 even 100 yuan per gram. That amounted to over 1,000,000 yuan in wealth, right in his hands. At that moment, Xiao Chen stared at the gold in his hands. His face filled with excitement. He was really going to strike it rich. "Please consume the evolution serum as soon as possible. As a reward, consuming the evolution serum will grant the host the ability to awaken special powers." The system's voice prompted again. Xiao Chen's attention shifted to the green, gooey substance in the bottle. It looked just like the water from a sewer. Was this the evolution serum? According to Gu Ming, it was pretty expensive. He opened the bottle cap, and a strong, unpleasant odor assaulted his senses. "Can this even be drunk?" Xiao Kan asked aloud. But there was no response. The system went silent as well. The allure of gaining special abilities still prevailed. Though Xiao Chen, despite the unpleasant taste, quickly drank the entire bottle of serum. The disgusting flavor almost made him gag, but the moment he finished, something felt off. A sharp pain suddenly surged through his body, and within moments, Xiao Chen fainted. When he awoke again, it was nighttime. "Fortunately, my little supermarket is in such a remote place that no one came even after all this happened," Xiao Chen muttered, shaking his head helplessly. He could imagine how low the consumer demand in this village was. "Congratulations. Host evolution successful. You now have spatial abilities." The system's voice rang in his ear. Xiao Chen immediately understood he had indeed gained spatial powers. Moreover, he now had his own personal space, Although it was only 10 square meters, it was more than enough. After all, there were some people who didn't even have that much space. To top it off, Xiao Chen discovered he could now perform short-range teleportation. Looking at the distance in front of him, Xiao Chen tried it out. In the next moment, he reappeared several meters away. His eyes shone with excitement. This spatial power was too incredible. With it, he could survive even in other planes. For a while, Xiao Chen kept experimenting with his teleportation distance. The farthest he could manage was about 3 meters. Even so, it was more than enough. However, after a few tries, he started to feel dizzy. His face turned pale, and he collapsed to the ground in exhaustion. If it weren't for his body being enhanced by the evolution serum, he probably would have fainted completely. He lay on the ground for a full hour before he had the strength to get up. Looks like this thing needs to be used with caution. Xiao Chen muttered softly to himself back in his room. He collapsed onto the bed. The events of the day had been so surreal that he was utterly drained. The next morning, Xiao Chen was woken by a knock on the door. "Xiao Chen, open the door." The voice from outside made Xiao Chen frown slightly when he opened the supermarket door and saw the group standing before him. His frown deepened. Even in a small village, there were always a few troublemakers, and these people were no exception. They were the kind of people who had no ambition, and their presence in the village was almost universally disliked. Xiao Yan, a distant relative of Xiao Chen and the son of the village chief, had recently returned to the village. After accumulating a large debt outside, he would often come to Xiao Chen's store and take things without paying. He claimed it was on credit, but in reality, he never intended to pay it back if Xiao Chen refused. The gang would cause trouble in the store, damaging goods, and there was little that could be done about it, especially since the village chief always supported his son. So, sometimes, Xiao Chen would give him a few packs of cigarettes just to get rid of him. At that moment, Xiao Yan pushed his way into the store with a few of his henchmen. "Xiao Chen." Still not opening the door at this hour, Xiao Yan said with a sneer. "I've run into some trouble. You have to help me out." "What do you mean?" Xiao Chen asked. Looking at Xiao Yan, "I need to borrow some money." Xiao Yan grinned. "Not much. Just 10,000. I know you've got it. After all, you've been running a store in the city for years before coming back." He added with a sly smile, "I don't have it." Xiao Chen shook his head. Not only did he not have that money, but he would never lend it to Xiao Yan. He knew that giving him money would be like throwing it away. Xiao Yan would never pay it back. "You little brat. You don't know what's good for you." Xiao Yan's face darkened. "I'm only asking because I respect you. Besides, if it weren't for us, you wouldn't have made any money running this store in the village. Would you?" Hearing Xiao Yan's shameless words, Xiao Chen couldn't help but laugh in anger. "You've come here to eat and take things. And when have you ever paid?" Xiao Chen retorted. Before he finished speaking, Xiao Yan's face twisted with fury. "Xiao Chen, you don't know how to show respect. You think I can't make your store go under?" Xiao Yan glared at him with menace. At those words, Xiao Chen shook his head. No longer interested in arguing with him. "Get out." Xiao Chen snapped coldly. Usually, Xiao Yan and his gang would take a few cigarettes and leave, and Xiao Chen would let it go. Because if he didn't, they might show up at his door and smash the store's windows in the dead of night. But if they really pushed him too far, Xiao Chen wouldn't hold back. The moment his words landed, Xiao Yan slapped him across the face. But before the slap could land, Xiao Chen caught his wrist. "You dare to fight back?" Xiao Yan sneered, turning to his henchmen. "Teach him a lesson." "Brothers." As soon as Xiao Yan's words were out, his thugs charged at Xiao Chen. The moment he saw them move, Xiao Chen felt everything slow down, as if time itself had slowed to a crawl. He moved quickly, slapping Xiao Yan across the face, sending him flying backwards. His nose was broken. The other thugs rushed toward him, but Xiao Chen punched them one by one, taking them down with ease in moments. They were all lying on the ground, groaning in pain. Xiao Chen looked at his own hand in surprise. He had never imagined that he could be this strong. "This evolution potion is really something," Xiao Chen muttered in astonishment. Just one bottle of this potion, and he was capable of such power. "Get out," Xiao Chen ordered, looking down at Xiao Yan, who was now on the floor. His nose crooked and bloodied. He looked at Xiao Chen in terror. Xiao Chen's cold gaze only made him even more afraid. Xiao Yan scrambled to his feet and fled in a panic, shouting over his shoulder, "Xiao Chen, you better watch out." Xiao Chen couldn't be bothered to respond to his threats. Just then, a voice rang out in his head. "Big brother, are you there? Can you hear me? It's Gu Ming?" Xiao Chen was momentarily stunned. You can talk to me, he replied, surprised. Big brother, you can hear me? That's great. Gu Ming responded eagerly. I've added a new contact function to my system, and you're the only one I can reach. Xiao Chen glanced at the interface and saw a function that resembled a call button. He could either reject or accept it. Big brother, can I ask you for a favor? Gu Ming continued. Don't worry. I won't make you work for nothing. You've tried the evolution potion, right? It's incredible. I've got even more powerful stuff, but you need to help me with something first. Xiao Chen raised an eyebrow. What kind of powerful stuff? Big brother, tell me first. Did you awaken any powers after taking the evolution potion? Yes. Xiao Chen replied, not hesitating. Whoa. There's a less than 10 chance of awakening powers. And you managed it? Gu Ming exclaimed in surprise. What power did you get? Space. Xiao Chen replied. Whoa. No way. That's one of the rarest powers. Gu Ming responded, his voice full of awe. This translation maintains the original context and tone, making it smoother and more fitting for English-speaking readers. Here is the translation, refined for better fluency and appropriate tone in English. Gu Ming exclaimed, Big brother, help me out, if you lend me a hand. I'll give you a bottle of evolution serum that can enhance your abilities. His voice echoed again. Go ahead, Xiao Chen replied. His voice calm. After all, Gu Ming was his first customer, and he'd given him so many gold bars and evolution serums. It was only right to keep things on good terms. I was killed by someone. Help me get my revenge. Gu Ming continued. As long as you help me avenge my death, I'll give you a medium-grade evolution serum. Tell me more. Xiao Chen responded, intrigued upon hearing that Gu Ming had died before crossing over. Xiao Chen immediately asked, what happened? He also wondered if other crossovers were the result of death, or perhaps some kind of body swapping. If it was the latter, the person might be missing in this world. I was born with a silver spoon, a rich second generation. After my parents died, I inherited a considerable fortune. But then I became the target of some people. They killed me and seized my wealth. Gu Ming said immediately, if you help me get revenge, I have some accounts overseas, anonymous ones. When the time comes, they'll all be yours. Hearing Gu Ming's words, Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. By this calculation, he was truly coming out ahead. Big brother, you have space powers. Don't worry, you're safe now. Gu Ming added, sensing Xiao Chen's concern. Xiao Chen, thinking things over, asked for more details. He was surprised to learn that Gu Ming was from the same city. All right, I'll help you out. If I find the culprit, I will definitely get your revenge. Xiao Chen replied. After all, this city wasn't small, and fighting someone wouldn't be easy. No rush, big brother. Just help me when you can. I'm not short on anything else. Just food, don't worry. I have enough gold bars. Gu Ming chuckled. I'm short on food, but you're probably short on money. We can cooperate, and we'll be unbeatable. I'll contact you when I need something. Gu Ming finished. Cutting off the connection, Xiao Chen glanced at his small supermarket. If he was going to supply Gu Ming regularly, his stock wouldn't be enough. He needed to replenish his inventory. Although he didn't have much money at the moment, he wasn't worried anymore. After a brief moment of thought, Xiao Chen sent a message to an old childhood friend. Selling this many gold bars wasn't easy. But Xiao Chen knew the right people, though few remained in the village. Many of his childhood friends had settled in the city, including one who ran a gold shop. He Pingzi, Xiao Chen's childhood friend, had known him since they were little, and they had a strong bond. Whenever He Pingzi returned to the village, he would always visit Xiao Chen. He Pingzi, I have a batch of gold bars to sell. Can you handle it? Xiao Chen sent the message. Soon, a voice message came back. Old Xiao, you struck it rich. How many gold bars? If you need cash, I can lend you a few tens of thousands to tide you over. No rush. Just let me know. The voice message continued. 25 bars, 100 grams each. Xiao Chen quickly replied. Shit. He Pingzi's voice sounded shocked. Old Xiao, over $1 million in goods? You really hit the jackpot. I definitely can't take that much, but I have gold shops here. Don't worry, we can team up to handle it. Just bring them over. I guarantee I'll help you sell them. I won't ask where they came from. You know how it is. Brother, He Pingzi added. Okay, I'll give you the highest price. 1 point per million. He Pingzi concluded. Deal. Xiao Chen didn't hesitate. He knew this price meant He Pingzi wasn't making any profit. I'll head over to see you now. Xiao Chen quickly responded. That quick? All right. Come on over, He Pingzi replied. Don't worry, brother. I'll make the call. After hanging up, Xiao Chen hurriedly closed his supermarket. There were hardly any customers, and it seemed more efficient to just shut the shop. He grabbed a box and drove off. When he arrived in the city, he saw He Pingzi sitting outside the shop. He Pingzi rushed over as soon as he spotted Xiao Chen. Old Xiao, where did you get all this gold? He Pingzi asked, reaching for the bag in Xiao Chen's hand. Just doing some business, Xiao Chen replied with a grin. All right, I won't ask. He Pingzi smiled, clearly understanding that everyone had their secrets. It was better not to probe too deeply. Follow me. My small gold shop won't be able to handle all this. Don't worry. I've found a reliable buyer for you, He Pingzi said, leading Xiao Chen to the largest store at the street corner. Jinyatong. Xiao Chen looked up at the large store in front of him and asked curiously, do you still have ties with this place? Xiao Chen knew that Jinyatong was the city's largest antique and gold shop, and its influence was far-reaching. Old Xiao, your goods don't have a clear origin, so I can only take them to them. Don't worry. The price will be right, He Pingzi said. But, once we get in, keep your eyes in check. Here's the refined translation of your text. Polished for better readability and alignment with English expression. What do you mean? Xiao Chen was about to ask further, but before he could, He Pingzi had already pulled him into the store. Manager Wang. This is my brother. Sister Song said to bring him in to sell a batch of goods. He Pingzi said, pointing to Xiao Chen. A middle-aged woman who was standing in front of them nodded when she saw He Pingzi. Sister Song is inside, she replied. Xiao Chen's gaze shifted to the store, which was much larger than expected, spanning 3 floors. With extravagant decor that was immediately impressive. The first floor displayed gold and jade items, while the second floor had an array of antiques and calligraphy. As He Pingzi led him to the third floor, Xiao Chen was surprised to see the simplicity of the design. He had expected the top floor to be more luxurious, but it was instead quite elegant, with only a set of wooden furniture and nothing else. In front of them stood a woman who was watching them behind her. A man in a black suit stood, his gaze fixed intently on Xiao Chen. The moment their eyes met, Xiao Chen felt a sense of unease. He immediately sensed a potential threat, and the man's gaze seemed to acknowledge the same warning. They exchanged a brief but intense stare. You're He Pingzi's friend? The woman asked, her voice calm. I'm Songya, the owner of Jinyatong. I heard you have a batch of gold to sell, she continued, her tone slightly more inquisitive. Xiao Chen replied immediately. Don't worry, it's not from domestic sources. Her response was a slight surprise, but she nodded, choosing not to ask further questions as long as it wasn't domestic. There wouldn't be much of an issue, however. She did find Xiao Chen intriguing after all. It wasn't simple to bring such a large amount of gold from overseas. So, where is it? Songya asked. Xiao Chen casually handed over the bag he was holding. When it was opened, the 25 gold bars were exposed, gleaming under the light. Songya nodded and signaled someone over, who quickly confirmed. The purity is fine. What kind of business do you run, Mr. Zhao? Songya inquired, her gaze shifting toward him. Just some small deals, and I might have more gold to sell in the future, Xiao Chen said with a smile. I wonder if your shop can handle it. As long as it doesn't cause trouble, I'll take as much as you have, Songya replied. Don't worry, there won't be any problems, Xiao Chen reassured her, understanding the implication behind her words. Everything I have is legitimate. Good, Songya nodded, then asked for Xiao Chen's account details soon. The 1.4 million was transferred. After the transaction, Xiao Chen and He Pingzi stood to leave. As they walked out, Songya turned to her bodyguard. Are you nervous? She asked. Eyeing him, this bodyguard had been hired with great expense, and his skills were impressive over the years. He had been invaluable in keeping the business running smoothly in the city. That man. He's dangerous, the bodyguard replied in a low voice, his gaze still lingering on Xiao Chen. He gave me a strange feeling. Oh? Songya was taken aback by his response and looked at him closely. What kind of feeling? His movements seemed amateur, as if he wasn't trained, but something about him felt dangerously off. If he attacked, I felt like I would die immediately, the man said, his voice tense. Songya raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised by his words. She had never expected that someone who seemed so harmless would exude such a dangerous aura. All right, in that case, let's continue our dealings with him. Also, have someone investigate him, Songya said, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. She knew that anyone capable of bringing in such a large amount of gold was not someone to be underestimated. After leaving Jinyatong, Xiao Chen transferred 100,000 yuan to He Pingzi. Old Xiao, what's this for? He Pingzi asked in surprise when he saw the transfer. It's your referral fee. Xiao Chen chuckled. Come on, don't be so polite you. V helped me a lot over the years. All right, if you say so, He Pingzi said, accepting the money without hesitation. Xiao Chen then thought for a moment before asking, do you know Gu Yan? Gu family? He Pingzi froze, his eyes widening. Old Xiao, how are you involved with the Gu family? They're not easy to deal with. He Pingzi quickly grabbed Xiao Chen's arm, a serious expression on his face. It looks like you know something, Xiao Chen said. His eyes brightening. He had only returned to the city 3 years ago, so he wasn't familiar with the Gu family, but He Pingzi would know. Anyone running a gold shop in this city had to know the local power players. Now it seemed that He Pingzi was aware of the Gu family's influence. Xiao Chen was still thinking about what Gu Ming had told him. Gu Yan had been the one who caused his death. He needed to know who Gu Yan really was here. As the refined translation with a more fluid and natural tone, I certainly know, He Pingzi said seriously. The underground boss of this city, Gu Yan, he has a lot of people working under him. Old Xiao, don't get involved with him. After leaving He Pingzi, Xiao Chen first called a few suppliers, ordering a large quantity of food to be delivered to the supermarket. Once that was arranged, he planned to head back. However, when he returned to the village, he was stunned. His supermarket had been completely destroyed. The door was violently smashed, and the glass counters inside were shattered into pieces. Seeing the mess, Xiao Chen's face darkened with rage. He didn't need to think to know who was behind this. Xiao Yan. He gritted his teeth, his expression cold with fury. Xiao Chen. Just as his face grew even darker, the village chief rushed over in a hurry. Xiao Chen, I know about this. I will make sure you get an explanation. The village chief spoke as he approached. Look, I'll have Xiao Yan compensate you, and we can consider this matter settled. Xiao Chen turned to look at the village chief. It was clear to him that the old man was trying to smooth things over. He knew full well why Xiao Yan was so arrogant in the village. The village chief had a big part in enabling him. Village chief, do you think this matter can be just swept under the rug? Xiao Chen said coldly, his voice laced with contempt. Just because of this incident, your son. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, the village chief looked uncomfortable. Xiao Chen, this is also partly your fault. My son was badly beaten by you this morning. And you know that. Even if you call the police, you won't be in the right. He added. Xiao Chen sneered coldly without replying. He simply said, if that's the case, then there's nothing more to discuss. With that, he turned and walked away. Xiao Chen had originally planned to escalate things in the village, since it was a remote area, and not many people would know about his actions. However, it was clear now that it wasn't going to work out. As for the incident, he would not let it go easily. Watching Xiao Chen leave, the village chief showed no sign of concern in his eyes. Xiao Chen was just a small fry, a failure in the big city who had no future, so he didn't care about him at all. Back at the supermarket, Xiao Chen stared at the destruction around him, his face full of fury. Xiao Yan's actions had pushed him to the brink. He wasn't about to let this father and son off lightly. By now, night had fallen, and the village was eerily quiet. Most of the villagers were elderly, and no one ventured outside after dark. Taking advantage of the cover of night, Xiao Chen swiftly made his way to the village chief's house. He was familiar with the location of the village's few security cameras and quickly avoided them. For the ones he couldn't avoid, he used his teleportation skill to pass by unnoticed. Before long, he arrived at the village chief's home. A 3-story villa. With a flash, Xiao Chen teleported directly to the second floor. Look at the mess you've caused. As soon as he arrived, Xiao Chen heard the village chief's voice. You can't just go smashing someone's store like that. Even if you're going to do it, it shouldn't be in broad daylight. The village chief was scolding his son, Xiao Yan. So what if I smashed it? What can that brat do? Xiao Yan retorted. He's been so arrogant, even dared to hit me. If I don't teach him a lesson, he'll think he can get away with anything. I'll smash more after dealing with that brat. Xiao Yan boasted. Xiao Chen's expression darkened further. He didn't speak, but simply stared at the two men. You think just because there aren't many people in the village, you can do whatever you want? The village chief glared at Xiao Yan. Fine, you don't need to worry about it. Xiao Yan snorted and was about to leave. However, as soon as he opened the door, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his neck and collapsed. Unconscious. Turning around, he saw Xiao Chen standing behind him using his teleportation again. Xiao Chen quickly knocked out the village chief with the same technique, looking at the unconscious father and son. Xiao Chen let out a cold smile. He casually tossed them into his spatial storage and decided to test whether his space could store living beings. If it worked, it would be convenient. If not, then no great loss, considering they were both just troublemakers. Once they were inside his space, Xiao Chen teleported again. Appearing on a mountain behind the village, he checked the two men's breathing. Both were still alive. Alive and well. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up with satisfaction. This made things much easier. He looked at the two men, a cold smile creeping across his face. A baseball bat appeared in his hand, and he began smashing their arms and legs. The pain was excruciating, and Xiao Yan almost woke up, but a swift punch from Xiao Chen knocked him unconscious again. After a few more hits, Xiao Chen had broken all four of Xiao Yan's limbs. He did the same to the village chief, breaking his arms and legs as well. Once that was done, Xiao Chen then left. As for what would happen to the two of them, he didn't care. Not killing them was already showing mercy. He knew his actions would cause trouble, but until he vented this frustration, Xiao Chen wouldn't feel at ease, and besides, he wasn't afraid of the consequences now. After returning home, Xiao Chen lay in bed, reflecting on the events of the day. A hint of surprise crossed his face. In the past, he would never have done something like this, but ever since drinking the evolution serum, it seemed like his personality had changed significantly. After some thought, he quickly contacted Gu Ming. "Brother, any news?" Gu Ming's voice came through urgently. "Did you find out something about that bastard Gu Yan?" "Gu Yan? The underground boss of Yan City?" Xiao Chen asked. "Yes," Gu Ming responded quickly. "That guy is my cousin. I used to trust him a lot, but after my parents died, he turned on me and tried to kill me." "Brother, you've got to deal with that bastard." Gu Ming's voice was filled with anger. Xiao Chen, curious, then asked, "I have another question for you. Ever since I drank the evolution serum, it feels like my personality has changed. What's going on?" "Hey, brother. You noticed?" Gu Ming chuckled. "It's normal. The evolution serum not only evolves your body, but also brings out your inner desires. In an apocalyptic world, a little side effect is to be expected, but don't worry. Aside from some personality changes, it doesn't have any other harmful effects." Hearing Gu Ming's explanation, Xiao Chen understood. No wonder he couldn't suppress his urge to eliminate certain people. Now that the deed was done, Xiao Chen didn't regret it in the slightest. "Brother, I've gathered quite a few people and taken control of 2 outposts. Now, I need a large supply of goods," Gu Ming quickly stated. Xiao Chen was taken aback. "I just traded with you yesterday, and you need more already?" Gu Ming, sounding a little urgent, replied, "You said we traded yesterday? But it's been a week here." Xiao Chen quickly realized the time difference between the two worlds. After a few more words, he ended the conversation and went to bed. After all, he had used his teleportation ability several times that night, and he was exhausted, but he noticed something strange. After using teleportation more often, he felt less fatigued, and his power seemed to be growing more refined. The next morning, Xiao Chen was woken up by a series of urgent knocks on his door. He opened the supermarket door to find 3 people in uniform standing in front of him. The one in charge was a female police officer, who was looking directly at Xiao Chen. "Are you Xiao Chen?" she asked. Xiao Chen nodded. He knew right away that the village chief and Xiao Yan had been found. "Where were you last night?" the officer asked directly. "I was at home sleeping," Xiao Chen replied calmly. "You didn't go out?" the other officers quickly asked. Xiao Chen shook his head. "I'm not sure why you're looking for me. What's this about?" "Do you know Song Yan? He and the village chief were found last night with their arms and legs broken, dumped in the mountains behind your house." The officer's eyes never left Xiao Chen, but he wasn't fazed. With the influence of the evolution serum, Xiao Chen found his inner strength and no longer felt intimidated. Though the officers were suspicious, he pretended to be shocked. "Really? That's great. I don't know who did it, but they certainly deserved it," Xiao Chen said with feigned surprise. The officer squinted at him. "I've asked around in the village. You have a grudge with them, right?" "Yes," Xiao Chen nodded. "Yesterday morning, Xiao Yan came to my supermarket and demanded 10,000 yuan. I didn't have the money, so I didn't give it to him. His men tried to beat me, but I managed to drive them off. Then I went to restock, and when I returned, my supermarket had been smashed." Xiao Chen said, feigning innocence. "What can I do? His father is the village chief, and I can't do anything about it." I called the suppliers last night and stopped the shipment. I was just about to find a new place and stop running the supermarket here. The female officer frowned slightly as she listened. Zhao Chen's calmness was unsettling, making her suspicious that he might be the one behind it. He had already visited the village early that morning, and she knew exactly what kind of person Zhao Yan was. The previous village chief had a decent reputation, but with his son's return, the village's opinion had soured. Xiao Yan was despised by nearly everyone. In contrast, Xiao Chen had a good reputation in the village for helping the elderly. Many had witnessed Xiao in destroying Xiao Chen's supermarket the day before, and although they were too afraid to speak openly, they helped Xiao Chen by speaking well of him during the investigation. They also brought up the village chief's corrupt dealings, which was helpful to Xiao Chen's case. The officer studied Xiao Chen for a moment before saying, "We'll investigate this matter until you leave the village for now. Don't worry. I'm just planning to open a supermarket elsewhere." Xiao Chen smiled, trying to sound reassuring. After the officer left, Xiao Chen spoke to a few of the elderly villagers. It seemed the two men had been fortunate. Early in the morning, someone from the village had gone up the mountain to hunt some wild game and stumbled upon the two of them. They immediately called the police. After returning home, Xiao Chen lay in bed, reflecting on the events of the day. A sense of surprise crept over him. He would never have done something like this in the past, but ever since drinking the evolution serum, it seemed like his personality had changed a lot. After some thought, he quickly contacted Gu Ming. "Brother, any news?" Gu Ming's voice came through, urgent as ever. "Do you have any information on that bastard Gu Yan?" "Gu Yan? Gu Yan, the underground boss of Yun City?" Xiao Chen asked. "Yes," Gu Ming quickly responded. "That guy is my cousin. I used to trust him a lot, but after my parents died, he tried to kill me." "Brother, you have to deal with that bastard," Gu Ming said, frustration in his voice. Xiao Chen, still curious, then asked, "I have another question for you. Ever since I drank the evolution serum, it feels like my personality has changed. What's going on?" "Hey, brother, you noticed?" Gu Ming chuckled. "It's normal. The evolution serum not only evolves your body but also brings out your inner desires. In an apocalyptic world, a little side effect is expected, but don't worry. Aside from personality changes, it won't do anything else." Hearing Gu Ming's explanation, Xiao Chen finally understood. No wonder he couldn't suppress his urge to eliminate certain people now that the deed was done. Xiao Chen didn't regret it at all. "Brother, I've already gathered quite a few people and taken over the outposts now. I need a large supply of goods," Gu Ming said immediately. Xiao Chen was taken aback. "I just traded with you yesterday, and now you need more already?" Gu Ming, sounding a bit anxious, replied, "You said we traded yesterday? But it's already been a week on this side." Xiao Chen quickly realized that the time flow was different between their two worlds. After a brief exchange, he ended the conversation and went to bed with several uses of his teleportation ability that night. Xiao Chen was exhausted, but strangely, the more he used his power, the less tired he became, and his abilities seemed to be improving. The next morning, Xiao Chen was awoken by a series of urgent knocks at his door. He opened the supermarket door to find 3 people in uniforms standing before him. The leader was a female police officer, looking directly at Xiao Chen. "Are you Xiao Chen?" she asked. Xiao Chen nodded, knowing immediately that the village chief and Xiao Yan had been found. "Where were you last night?" the officer asked directly. "I was at home sleeping," Xiao Chen replied calmly. "You didn't go out?" The officers pressed. Xiao Chen shook his head. "I'm not sure why you're looking for me. What's this about?" "Do you know Song Yan? He and the village chief were found last night with their arms and legs broken, dumped in the mountains behind your house." The officer's gaze was fixed on Xiao Chen, but he didn't flinch thanks to the evolution serum. Xiao Chen now felt strong on the inside and didn't feel intimidated. Though the officers were suspicious, he pretended to be shocked. "Really? That's great. I don't know who did it, but they deserved it," Xiao Chen said, feigning surprise. The officer narrowed her eyes at him. "I've asked around in the village. You have a grudge with them, don't you?" "Yes." Xiao Chen nodded. "Yesterday morning, Xiao Yan came to my supermarket and demanded 10,000 yuan. I didn't have the money, so I didn't give it to him. His men tried to beat me, but I managed to chase them off. Then I went to restock, and when I came back, my supermarket had been smashed." Xiao Chen continued, feigning innocence. "What could I do? His father is the village chief. I can't do anything about it. I called the suppliers last night and stopped the shipment. I was just about to find a new place and leave the village. The female officer frowned slightly as she listened. Zhao Chen was too calm, which made her even more suspicious that he might be the one who caused the damage. She had already visited the village early that morning and knew Zhao Yan's reputation. The former village chief had some support in the village, but with his son's return, their goodwill had been mostly squandered. Xiao Yan was now despised by nearly everyone. In contrast, Xiao Chen had a great reputation in the village for helping the elderly. Many had witnessed Zhao Yan's destruction of Zhao Chen's supermarket the previous day. And though they were too afraid to speak openly, they spoke well of Zhao Chen during the investigation. They also mentioned the village chief's shady dealings, which helped Xiao Chen's case. The officer studied Zhao Chen for a moment before saying, "We'll investigate this matter until you leave the village for now. Don't worry, I'm just planning to open a supermarket elsewhere." Xiao Chen smiled, trying to sound reassuring. After the officer left, Xiao Chen spoke to a few elderly villagers. It seemed the two men had been lucky. Early in the morning, someone had gone up the mountain to hunt some wild game and stumbled upon them. The villagers immediately called the police. "This time, there's no request for evolution serums, but I promised you personally that I'd give you one," Gu Ming said, handing over a vial. "This is the Strike Evolution Serum. One person can only take 3 vials. After 3, it has no further effect, and from then on, you'll need to use the Intermediate Evolution Serum." Gu Ming continued, "We're still a small outpost thanks to the food you provided. I've gathered quite a few people, but I'm still hesitant to trade food for anything. It's just too valuable in this world." He then handed the vial to Xiao Chen, saying, "So for now, I can only give you this one. It's from me personally. When you've avenged me, I'll make sure to give you an Intermediate Evolution Serum." Xiao Chen nodded, taking the vial. "All right, I'll be on my way then." He placed the 100 gold bars into his space and prepared to leave. The apocalypse world seemed far too dangerous for now. He wasn't ready to stay here, so it was better to leave for the time being. Returning to the real world, Xiao Chen glanced at his space. As expected, only 50 gold bars were left. Even so, it was still enough, close to 3 million in total, which had been traded for just a few thousand kilos of food. This kind of deal was terrifying. But for now, Xiao Chen wasn't planning to trade more gold. He just sold a batch and didn't want to sell another so quickly. It would be hard to explain. It was better to wait until he was running low on money. He called He Pingzi, asking him to find a warehouse, preferably one in a secluded area. "I actually have just the place," He Pingzi responded. "It's from Sister Song's. He is preparing to sell a property. A 3-story building. The first floor is a warehouse and storefront, and the second and third floors are residential. The price is pretty high, though it's worth over 3 million. He Pingzi added. Hearing this, Xiao Chen frowned slightly. After a moment of thought, he replied, "Help me schedule a meeting with Sister Song." Initially, Xiao Chen had planned to wait before cashing in the gold bars, but it seemed like keeping them wasn't going to work. He might as well trade them for a property now. Soon after, He Pingzi called back. "Sister Song has agreed. I heard Xiao Yan smashed your supermarket yesterday," He Pingzi asked, his voice filled with curiosity. "Did you do it? His father and he were turned into cripples. How are you so sure it was me?" Xiao Chen asked with a faint smile. "Actually, many people in the village think it was you," He Pingzi said with a chuckle. "But no one really cares. Those two are already so disliked by everyone. No one's going to bat an eye. You should have left that place a long time ago," He Pingzi added. "Do you really want to spend your whole life there?" Xiao Chen nodded. "Sister Song agreed, right? I probably don't have enough cash on hand. I might need a loan." "No need," Xiao Chen replied. "I'll talk to her directly." With that, he got into his Wuling van and headed toward Jinyadong again. When he arrived, the bodyguard from before was already waiting for him. As soon as the bodyguard saw Xiao Chen, a hint of wariness flickered in his eyes. Xiao Chen's presence always made him feel uneasy, though he couldn't pinpoint why. Despite Xiao Chen's ingrained mannerisms and relaxed demeanor, there was something about him that seemed dangerous. Xiao Chen followed the bodyguard to the 3rd floor, where Sister Song was waiting. "Are you here to buy my building?" she asked, eyeing Xiao Chen. "Yes," Xiao Chen replied. "I want to open a new supermarket, and He Pingzi said your place would be perfect." Xiao Chen had always found Sister Song to be attractive, but today, he found her even more alluring. She was confident, composed, and exuded a certain charm. Sister Song, too, seemed to regard him differently now. The last time they met, She had thought him just a lucky young man, but now, she could see he had power and potential. "Let's go," Sister Song said, nodding. She then gestured to her driver, signaling him to start the car. The supermarket wasn't far, just a few kilometers away. Xiao Chen surveyed the area and found it to be exactly what he wanted. While it wasn't in a bustling area, and seemed somewhat isolated, this was perfect for Xiao Chen. For him, renting a supermarket was more of a cover. His true business was the cross-dimensional transactions, and crowded areas would make it harder to manage. Additionally, the entire building with its large yard was an ideal space for him. "Honestly, if you're just opening a supermarket, I wouldn't recommend this place," Sister Song said, looking at him. "This building was part of a debt settlement. The asking price is 3 million. I'm very satisfied," Xiao Chen said. Immediately he quickly went to his Wuling van, retrieved a box of gold bars from his space, and brought them to her. "Sister Song, I don't have enough cash, but I can offer these gold bars as payment." As she looked at the gold bars in the box, Sister Song narrowed her eyes, a slight surprise flickering in her expression. She studied Xiao Chen carefully, clearly impressed by the wealth in front of her. All right. Song Ya didn't ask further by now. She could tell that the person in front of her was no ordinary individual. Millions in gold weren't much, but for someone driving a humble Wuling and seemingly living modestly, to possess a large amount of unaccounted for gold was suspicious. And to make matters more intriguing, this person might be extremely powerful still. Song Ya wasn't going to question him. She was in the gold business, and these gold bars would only profit her after counting the gold. Xiao Chen and Song Ya proceeded with the property transfer procedures. Once everything was settled, Xiao Chen was about to leave, but just as he turned to go, the door to Song Ya's office suddenly swung open. A young man, flanked by a group of people, walked in. His eyes locked onto Xiao Chen. "Song Ya, who is he?" The young man squinted, narrowing his gaze at Xiao Chen, his eyes flashing with an edge of hostility. Feeling the intensity of the gaze, Xiao Chen also narrowed his eyes. In an instant, his muscles tensed, and he scanned the man's body. If the man made any move, Xiao Chen could react instantly and eliminate the threat at that moment. Xiao Chen's aura shifted, and Song Ya's bodyguard behind her immediately noticed, his face changing in an instant. Xiao Chen seemed to transform into a dangerous predator. Even the group behind the young man appeared to feel the weight of a looming threat, as if they were now facing a wild beast. "Gu Yan, this is my client. He is here to buy my property. Do you have an issue?" Song Ya's voice was sharp, her gaze fierce as she addressed the young man. Upon hearing her, both Xiao Chen and Gu Yan frowned. Gu Yan carefully examined Xiao Chen, noting his cheap attire before finally showing a faint smile. "It's nothing. I was just curious." Xiao Chen stared at him, thinking, so this is Gu Yan. He hadn't expected to encounter Gu Yan here. Gu Ming's cousin, the one who had swallowed Gu Ming's inheritance and killed him. Xiao Chen's eyes darkened slightly as a flash of murderous intent flickered in his gaze. But now wasn't the time to act. Now that he had seen Gu Yan, he would wait for the right opportunity to strike. "Song Ya, I'll take my leave now," Xiao Chen said, turning to walk away. Gu Yan squinted, his gaze lingering on Xiao Chen for a moment before he turned to one of his bodyguards behind him. Giving a subtle nod, the bodyguard quickly followed Xiao Chen out. As Xiao Chen walked out of Tinyatong, the bodyguard intercepted him, blocking his path. Xiao Chen's eyes turned cold as the killer instinct within him stirred. He didn't want to act just yet, but if the bodyguard persisted, he would have no qualms about dealing with him. "Kid, our boss, Gu Yan, wants me to warn you, don't get any funny ideas," the bodyguard sneered. "Do you know who our boss is, Gu Yan?" As the bodyguard reached out to slap Xiao Chen's face, Xiao Chen coldly sneered and grabbed the man's arm. Twisting it with force, the bodyguard cried out in pain. Collapsing to the ground, Xiao Chen glanced back at the building through the window. Gu Yan was watching him, his eyes filled with rage. Xiao Chen smirked coldly before turning around and walking to his Wuling van, quickly driving off. "Song Ya, who is this kid?" Gu Yan's face darkened, his tone furious. "My bodyguard was easily disabled by him with just one hand." "Just a client," Song Ya replied coldly. "Gu Yan, you better not get any funny ideas." She had seen Xiao Chen's actions earlier, and to be honest, his skills far exceeded her expectations. One move, and Gu Yan's bodyguard was taken out without effort. Gu Yan snorted, turning to leave. "Did you find out everything about Xiao Chen?" Song Ya earned to her bodyguard. Her curiosity piqued. She was now really interested in Xiao Chen. Checked. The bodyguard said softly. He's very ordinary. Even overly ordinary. The bodyguard frowned slightly. Except for the 2 boxes of gold he brought to us, there's nothing noteworthy about him. He's just what? Song Ye raised an eyebrow, waiting for more. The bodyguard thought for a moment and then recounted the incident with the village chief and his son. Oh, Sonya was surprised. You couldn't find anything. Not even on the surveillance footage. Yes. The bodyguard responded. I checked the village's surveillance. Even I couldn't avoid being captured, but he did it. Everyone knows it was him, but there's no evidence. The bodyguard looks serious now. And he's dangerous. Just now when he looked at Gu Yan, I could see the murderous intent in his eyes. He wants to kill Gu Yan. The bodyguard paused, his voice becoming more grave. Boss. This guy is dangerous. If I went up against him, I believe it'd be a death sentence. And I wouldn't even know how I'd die. Song Yao was taken aback. She knew very well who Gu Yan was, someone who had come from a world of death. A true warrior, but she had never seen someone so calm and collected, yet capable of taking someone down with ease at that moment. A sense of surprise filled her, and she turned to the bodyguard with a question. Do you think Xiao Chen's background is fabricated? I don't know. If it's fake, then whoever is backing him must have a very powerful force, one that can even help him fabricate such an ordinary profile. Sonya furrowed her brows, deep in thought. And if it's not? If not? That's even more terrifying, someone this powerful, hiding for so long and only now revealing his fangs. As the bodyguard spoke, Sonya nodded slightly, not continuing the conversation. Boss. Gu Yan is no good either if he's got his eye on you. It's definitely trouble, the bodyguard said, his voice laced with concern. That guy is a real problem, Sonya muttered, frowning. After all, Gu Yan had a lot of influence in the city. For someone like her, who was in the gold business, that was certainly a headache. Let's put him aside for now. If things get out of hand, we'll talk to Xiao Chen. Sonya thought for a moment, then added, Xiao Chen seems to have a huge grudge against Gu Yan. At that moment, Xiao Chen was unaware that Sonya had taken an interest in him, even if he knew. It wouldn't matter, however. As he drove, he couldn't shake the feeling that the side effects of the evolution serum were becoming more pronounced. His personality had already shifted, and now, he found himself craving violence. I ran into Gu Yan today. Xiao Chen thought for a moment before contacting Gu Ming. Damn, brother. Did you kill him? Gu Ming immediately responded, eager to know. No, Xiao Chen replied. There were too many people, it was hard to make a move. Brother, you have to find a chance and deal with him. Don't worry, I'll reward you with something good. Gu Ming said urgently. This is my only wish. Xiao Chen smiled. He understood what Gu Ming meant. After the conversation, he returned to the building he had bought. The location was somewhat isolated with several factory zones nearby, so it wasn't very crowded. Xiao Chen quickly tittied up and contacted his supplier to have the goods delivered to the new place. Afterward, he took out the evolution serum without hesitation and drank it in one go. The taste was still unpleasant, even somewhat nauseating. However, this time, the pain wasn't as intense as before. He didn't even faint. Instead, he could clearly feel his heartbeat quickening, and his muscles seemed to squirm, expanding rapidly. He could sense his strength increasing significantly. Casually, he picked up a shelf and easily lifted it above his head. The shelf weighed over 100 pounds, but to him, it felt like lifting a wooden stick. If I threw a punch now, I could probably kill someone with it, Xiao Chen thought to himself. System notification. Host's spatial abilities increased, teleportation range extended. Space expanded. Xiao Chen immediately noticed that his space had expanded from 10 square meters to 20 square meters. He took a step forward and found himself on the second floor of the space. Previously, his teleportation range had been limited to 5 meters, but now, it was closer to 10 meters after teleporting. He didn't feel the usual exhaustion. This evolution serum is amazing, Xiao Chen said aloud. For the rest of the day, Xiao Chen focused on organizing the stock, even if he was only using the supermarket as a cover. He still wanted to maintain appearances. When the goods arrived from his suppliers, he arranged everything properly. Afterward, he decided to take a rest, but just as he was about to sleep, a feeling of unease suddenly washed over him. He couldn't explain why, but it felt like something was about to happen. He hurriedly walked to the balcony, and when he looked down, his expression changed. Several cars had appeared at the entrance to his property, and Xiao Chen recognized the people getting out of them. It was the bodyguard from Gu Yan's side. The man was staring directly at Xiao Chen. This really is a problem, Xiao Chen muttered. Frowning reluctantly, he walked downstairs to see what they wanted. Since they were already here, he might as well find out what was going on after all. He didn't want these people barging into his house. If they started wrecking the newly arranged shelves, it would be a huge loss. As the group gathered at the door, about to rush in, the door opened, and Xiao Chen stepped out. His gaze swept over the group, and he narrowed his eyes slightly. What's going on? You kid, Gu Yi asked me to deliver a message. The bodyguard sneered. Don't mess with Sonia. She's someone Gu Yi has set his sights on. Xiao Chen furrowed his brow and stared at the man. Done? Then get lost. The bodyguard, who was leading the group, scoffed. Gu Yi said he's going to teach you a lesson. As he spoke, the group of bodyguards charged toward Xiao Chen. Brandishing short sticks, Xiao Chen's face darkened, and he wasted no time. The first person to charge was grabbed by Xiao Chen, who effortlessly lifted him up and threw him into the crowd. The man flew through the air like a ragdoll, knocking several others down with him. The rest of the group stood frozen in shock. They hadn't expected a man weighing over 150 pounds to be thrown around like that with no effort. Xiao Chen quickly advanced, grabbing another dazed individual and throwing him into the crowd. With the effects of 2 evolution serums, Xiao Chen could feel the immense power coursing through him with each throw. The gang of small-time thugs was left stunned and disoriented. They never expected Xiao Chen to be so terrifying. Get lost, Xiao Chen hissed through clenched teeth. If it weren't for the fact that it wasn't the right place to kill, he would have taken them all out without hesitation. The group, now completely demoralized, had no choice but to leave in a hurry. The previously cocky bodyguard was the first to flee. But, just as he tried to turn and run, he felt a sharp pain in his thigh. Xiao Chen had kicked him so hard that his leg bone snapped. He then tossed the bodyguard aside. The remaining thugs didn't dare make a move. They quickly scattered. Leaving the scene, Xiao Chen watched them go, his face darkening. He hadn't gone after Gu Yan yet, but Gu Yan had already come to his door.